The ties that bind. Maya had always been close to her younger sister, Sarah. Growing up, they shared everything, from their toys to their secrets. But as they got older, Maya felt a growing unease about their bond. It was as if Sarah's affection had morphed into something darker, an obsession that suffocated rather than nurtured. One day, while rummaging through the attic, Maya stumbled upon a small wooden box tucked away in a dusty corner. Curiosity piqued. She opened it to find an assortment of trinkets, a lock of hair, a brittle photograph of them as children, and an intricately woven bracelet with 2 interlocking hearts. Maya recognized it immediately. It was a gift Sarah had made for them to symbolize their bond. As she held the bracelet, a wave of nostalgia washed over her, but there was something unsettling about it. An inexplicable chill crept through her as she slipped it onto her wrist. The moment it clasped, an icy shiver ran down her spine. She shrugged it off, thinking it was just the dampness of the attic air, and descended back downstairs. That evening, as Maya prepared for bed, she noticed something peculiar. The air felt thick, almost electric, and the shadows in her room seemed to shift unnaturally. She dismissed it, attributing it to her imagination. However, sleep eluded her, and she lay awake, staring at the ceiling. In the dead of night, she heard a soft tapping sound like fingernails against wood. Her heart raced as she turned toward the door, convinced that Sarah had come to check on her. But when she opened it, no one was there. The hallway was empty, dimly lit by a flickering bulb at the end. Maya stepped out cautiously, the tapping sound echoing again, this time from the living room. Hesitating, she followed the noise, feeling the hairs on the back of her neck stand on end. As she reached the living room, she was met with an icy draft that chilled her to the bone. Suddenly, the tapping stopped. The silence was deafening. She scanned the room, her breath quickening, and that's when she saw it, a figure standing in the corner, barely illuminated by the moonlight seeping through the window. It was her sister, Sarah, staring intently at her, an unsettling smile stretching across her face. "Sarah, what are you doing?" Maya asked, her voice shaking. "I've been waiting for you," Sarah replied, her tone unnaturally calm. "I wanted to show you something." Before Maya could respond, Sarah took a step closer, and the temperature in the room dropped sharply. "You've been wearing that bracelet," she said, her smile widening. "It binds us, you know. It keeps us together forever." Maya felt a surge of panic. "What do you mean? I don't want to be bound to anyone." Sarah's expression shifted, the smile fading into a look of hurt and disappointment. "You don't understand, do you? We're meant to be inseparable. You're mine, Maya. You always have been." Before Maya could react, Sarah lunged forward, her hands gripping Maya's wrists tightly. "You're not going anywhere!" Maya struggled against her sister's grip, but Sarah was stronger than she remembered. Desperation coursed through her veins as she fought back, kicking and pushing with every ounce of strength she had. In the chaos, the bracelet snapped and fell to the ground, its charms clattering like a broken promise. A low growl erupted from Sarah, her face twisting in anger. "You can't just abandon me!" Maya bolted for the door, but Sarah was quick. She tackled her sister, sending them both sprawling onto the floor. "You'll regret this!" Sarah screamed, her voice rising to an unsettling pitch. In the struggle, Maya managed to push Sarah away long enough to grab a nearby lamp and swing it at her sister. The lamp shattered against Sarah's arm, sending shards flying and causing her to recoil. But the look in her eyes was not one of pain. It was pure fury. "You think you can hurt me?" Sarah hissed, her face shifting into a grotesque mask of rage. The light flickered as if reflecting the darkness brewing within the room. Maya's heart raced as she backed away, searching for an escape. But there was nowhere to run. Sarah lunged again, and in that moment, Maya felt something shift within her. A surge of energy flowed through her, a connection that bound them more tightly than she could comprehend. In that instant, she realized the bracelet wasn't just a symbol of their bond. It was a conduit for something far more sinister. Maya's mind raced as she recalled tales of ancient rituals, of sacrifices made to bind souls together. It was a dark legacy passed down through their family, a twisted tradition of devotion that Sarah had unknowingly invoked. "No!" Maya screamed, shaking her head as if trying to dispel the thought. "I won't be part of this." But Sarah's eyes gleamed with a haunting light, and Maya felt the pull of their connection deepen. "You can't escape it. We are bound, and I will not let you go." As the power surged between them, the room spun, filled with a cacophony of anguished cries that echoed through Maya's mind. Images flooded her consciousness, flashes of their childhood, laughter twisted into screams, and darkness swallowing them whole. In that moment of clarity, Maya realized she had a choice. She could embrace the darkness or sever the bond that had turned into a nightmare. With every ounce of willpower, she reached deep within herself, channeling the strength of her own identity, the memories that were hers alone. "Enough!" she roared, and with a force she didn't know she possessed, she broke the connection. The room erupted in a blinding light, and Sarah staggered back, a look of disbelief on her face as the force of their bond shattered like glass. Maya fell to her knees, gasping for breath as the light enveloped her. When she opened her eyes, Sarah was gone, the room eerily silent. The darkness that had filled the air lifted, leaving only a heavy emptiness behind. Trembling, Maya picked up the broken bracelet, now just a twisted piece of metal. She could still feel the echo of Sarah's presence, but it was distant, fading like a dream. As she looked around the now quiet room, she realized the true horror was not what had happened, but what could have been a lifetime chain to a sister who had turned into something unrecognizable. As dawn broke, Maya stood alone, clutching the remnants of her past. She knew she would have to live with the consequences of their bond, but for the first time in a long while, she felt free. The ties that once bound her were severed, leaving her to forge her own path, one that was no longer dictated by fear.